What's up friends, glad to have you guys back to yet another review where I simplify the details to help you make the best purchase decision. And first of all, shout out to Jason who lent me his pair of the Sennheiser PXC 550s so that I can review them today and make this video possible. So thank you Jason. And after using it for around 2 weeks, I think it's great. It's got great sound quality, call quality, it's got simultaneous pairing, comfort is awesome, and I gotta admit, it has pretty good touch controls as well. It's a lot better than the Sony's. But I'm not gonna lie, it is a bit hard for me to recommend to buy this in 2019 because it is 3 years old and I think a new version might be coming out. And this does not have the strongest ANC when compared to the rest. But you will see that it does go on sale often on Amazon for like $230 to $250, and at that price, it's really hard to say no as well, because I think that's actually a affordable price for something like this. So the question that this video is meant to answer, or tries to answer, is the PXC 550 still relevant in 2019, and if you should buy this? So I've done detailed reviews on the Sony and the Bose, and today I'm just gonna go over the major differences that I have experienced when using these when comparing the two, to find out which one is in fact the right one for you. So first of all, let's go over the sound quality. Now I gotta know that the sound is a bit complex because it sounds different depending on the type of input that you use. And you can connect it through the micro USB, through this cable that it comes with, through Bluetooth, and through Bluetooth plus the CapTune app. Because when you only play it through Bluetooth without the app or through this cable, this sounds more neutral and unimpressive than it should be. And in those situations, I do find it really hard to say that it's better than the Bose or the Sony's. But when it is played through the USB cable, or you're finding the best sounds through the equalizer, it does sound a lot better than the Bose and closer to the Sony's. And something important to note when you're using the app in your phone, the equalizer only applies to onboard music that you store in your phone and Tidal app. So if you're playing Amazon Music, Spotify, or anything like that, it's not gonna apply to that. So that was really disappointing for me because the equalizer does make a huge difference, and it's just a lot better with the equalizer. So when we're talking about the sound quality, I'm just gonna have to base it on the best sound quality that this can produce using the micro USB and the CapTune app itself. So starting with the bass, the Sennheiser does it very well. It's very warm and it has a big sound stage, so that's really nice. And when you compare the bass depth of the three, the Bose doesn't really have that strong of a bass, so it's more like push. This is more like a bass kick, and the bass actually rumbles, and when it's cupped around your earlobes actually like jiggle. So that's how good the bass is, and it doesn't distort, so that's really good. And as for the mids and the highs, I do think that Bose has an advantage with the highs, because when you play acoustic music with really snappy sounds, it has higher definition over there and it sounds more 3D. But in terms of detail and clarity, all these does it very well. You won't lose your details even in busier rock arrangements. You can still hear the hi-hats really clearly and just all the little things. But with the Sonys, I do feel like there is more of a 3D space that you can really hear and differentiate the left and right. So that's really powerful over there. And with the Sennheisers, I do feel like you can get almost the same kind of experience if you do know what you're doing with the sound and the type of files that you're playing with and the equalizer. So if you're more audiophile oriented and you know what you're doing, I think the Sennheisers does have that range for you to play with, and it can please you in the ways that you want. So with that being said, they all sound really good. Big sound stage, high definition sound. With the Sonys, I have to say the overall sound is more like a party kind of sound. The bass does like fatigue your ear over a while. That's why I can't edit with these. If you are someone who likes that party kind of music, lots of bass and a really 3D sound, I would go with the Sonys. If you do want more of a controlled, warm sound, go with the Sennheisers. And if you want more of a neutral sound, the most neutral sound there is, go with the Bose. And next we have the active noise cancelling. I gotta say that the active cancelling in this isn't as strong as the Sony's for sure, and it's close to the Bose, but the Bose wins it by like just a marginal bit, because I was out at Starbucks, I was out on the streets, and I had to play my music until a point where I couldn't hear what's outside, and this is the volume that I had to put it at for that to happen. So it's not that big of a difference with the Bose, and I gotta say that when you're traveling, it does get rid of all the humming sounds. The thing that you can still hear the most is all the higher frequency sounds. So if people are talking, if dishes are clanging here and there, that's what you're gonna hear the most. But I do know that this was made like 3 years ago. It's really good for what it was before, so if you are traveling in the plane and you wanna fall asleep listening to music at a lower volume, this will do the job for you. But if you are in a coffee shop trying to focus and work and listening to a low volume, that's gonna be a bit harder. So you are gonna have to up your volume a bit for that to happen, and that's just what it is. And next, onto the hear through feature. So you can activate this simply by just double tapping, and when that happens, it actually pauses your music and it lets sound in so you can hear and be aware of what's in your surroundings. But I would have to say that the Sony does it a lot better. The hear-through in this is kind of tinny. You can still hear what's outside really well, but it's not the best that I've tried. That's all I gotta say. And since it pauses your music, I don't find it that useful because it's the same as just like doing this. So I do think it's more useful on the Sonys than the Sennheisers. And the very last thing that I have to talk about is the call quality. And I gotta say that there is no comparison here. The Sonys suck, the Bose is okay, but this does it the best out of the three. And I'm not gonna try to describe it to you. Here's a call quality test to show you the difference. So now we're at the food court right now. You can probably hear like everyone around me. And what you wanna notice is if it isolates my voice and separates it from what's out there. Okay, so now we're using the Sennheiser PXC 550s, testing 1, 2, 3. Also, this comes with a cable that has a mic on it as well, so we're gonna try that now. Okay, so now I have the cord on me, so I'm gonna click it. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is a Sennheiser PX 550 with the cord on. Okay, so now we're using the Bose QC35-2s. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is the Bose QC35-2s. So this is the Sony 1000XM3s right here. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is the Sony 1000XM3s. Okay guys, so that's all the test there is. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think and which one sounds the best to you. And next we have the build quality and the comfort. I gotta say that it's very comfortable. The ear cups are very nice. It is very close to the Bose, in fact. I won't be able to tell which one I like more. With both of these, you can wear them for a long time, and the ear cups are very nice and foamy as well, while it ventilates your air so you won't get as much ear sweat as the Sonys. The band on here and the tension is very nice as well, so when you put it on head, it doesn't give you any cranial pressure on your temples. So that's really nice, and the overall build is very premium as well. It uses a very soft leather here and there with aluminum or metal parts to show that it's more premium. But I do have to say that the look is a bit I don't know, it's just not for me, I don't think. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look like super modern as well, and that's because it was made 3 years ago. I do like the black on both of these more than this, so it's really a preference here. So what do you guys think? Here's a clip of me having all three of them on my head. Let me know in the comments below which looks the best to you. And the last thing I do have to talk about are the touch controls. Everything is on the right ear cup, and I do have to say my user experience with this was very good. The touch control is very accurate. The volume control is very accurate. It's very granular, so when you swipe up, you can control the volume very precisely, especially when you compare it to the Sony. So I do like the implementation of the touch control over here. But with touch controls, if you live in very cold weather, the Sonys over here actually have this like muting problem in extreme cold weathers, and I'm not sure if that's the same case with the touch controls over here, and it's not gonna apply to like 90% of you guys. So it's something to note, but something not to worry about at the same time. Anyways, I usually don't like touch controls, but I was really impressed by this one and how this was made 3 years ago. And lastly, there are a few quirks of these headphones that make it very useful. Well, first of all, the connection quality is great. You can actually connect this up to 3 devices. You can connect to 2 simultaneously on Bluetooth, and you can connect it through the USB for a 3rd connection. So that's super useful, especially if you're using your phone and laptop at the same time. It switches from device to device very quickly because you don't have to pause what you're playing on your laptop first in order to play on your second device. When you play on your phone, for example, the signal will intercept right away and it will go to your phone instantly. Unlike the Bose, which can accept multiple connections as well, but with this you do have to pause it first to play the second. So that may work better for you or not, depending on your situation and your preference. And the other thing is that you can actually charge and play this at the same time, so when it runs out of battery, you'll still be okay. And the last 2 special things about it is that when you're playing music and when you take your headphones off, it can pause your music automatically. But in my experience, I didn't find that to be too useful because it only works sometimes and it sometimes doesn't. And the other thing is that to power this on, you have to turn it like this to power it on. It might seem really intuitive, really cool, really different than just switching the headphones on or pressing a button. But in this mode, right, when you store your headphones away like this, it's still on. You can't turn it off. So that's the only thing that I didn't like about it. Because when it's my backpack, I usually just store it like this and throw them in. This is its most compact size, and I just don't like using the cases because it's too bulky. So in the end, I do think that Sennheiser has done a lot of things right in 2016 with these. If you got it in between 2016 and 2018, I think you would have loved it and enjoyed it. There's really nothing wrong, except that you really have to know what you're doing with the sound. If you have the right inputs, I'm sure you can push out the sound that you want from these. But with the Bose and Sonys, they really just sound great the first time you use them. You don't have to like tinker around much with equalizers or anything. Like Bose is what people would expect. With the Sonys, it goes even further than their expectations, right? But you really have to know what you're tinkering with to get the sound that you want. That's the final thing I'm gonna say. And it's really hard for me to recommend these in 2019 because these have been out for 3 years, and I think the new one is coming. And I hope in that new version that they're gonna adjust the sounds and that it's gonna sound more consistent regardless of what kind of input that you use. Because for myself, I only use active noise cancelling headphones for work and video editing. And for myself, I found that I like using Bose the most because it's really simple to use. You just turn it on, it's connected to all my devices, and the sound is the same whether it's Bluetooth or plugged in. It just works a lot better. Because when I use the Sennheisers for editing, it doesn't sound the same over Bluetooth than if I connect it to the wire. It sounds a lot better on the wire than the Bluetooth for some reason, I don't know why. And for video editing with the Sonys, the bass gets really fatiguing for me. I get actually tired of using it. So I only use this for listening to music and watching movies. So after having the chance to review all 3 of these, I really think that it's made for different kind of audiences, and you really gotta know what kind of music that you listen to and what you use it for and how often you're gonna use it to see if which one's worth it for you. But again, I do see this go on sale on Amazon for like $230 to $250, and I think that's a great price. So if you are on a budget, I would get these or the version 1 of these. But if you are getting these at full price at $350, I think the Sonys are gonna be a lot better than the Bose. So with all that being said, I really hope this review has helped you figure out which one is the right one for you. And if you have any questions at all, ask away below. I'd love to help you guys out. And thank you again, Jason, for lending me your headphones for like 2 or 3 weeks. I really appreciate it. And that's it for now, guys. We'll see you in the next review. Bye!